touch. You got the touch.
This is Stan Bush, and this epic video from Optibotimus truly has the touch.
This is Optibotimus with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new iGear's MW-04 Mini Warriors UFO, which is not Cosmos. And as you can see, the packaging, very nice as well. I love what iGear does with this. It definitely gives a feel of that. This is a legitimate figure, and I really do appreciate the amount of detail that they put in the box. You got the Mini Warrior, of course, 17 and under. You can choke on these things, so be very careful. Flip around here on the back. You got a little kind of blueprint diagram, and I absolutely love his read-up on here. Being responsible for 100% of space reconnaissance for Faith Leader can be a tiring job, and UFO doesn't have the patience for it. Easily distracted by his big imagination, UFO sees himself as a fearless space explorer and wanders far from his mission briefs towards alien planets where he is often spotted by locals, hence his name, which is UFO. If he encountered any enemies on these runs, he might be concerned to realize this weapon is actually just a kid's toy given to him as a joke, which I love it because it's a toy. Absolutely wonderful though, but the packaging on here, like I said, very nice. I do like what they're doing with it. They are considerably bigger than what we got before. As you can see, for MW-01 and even 02, the packaging is drastically bigger, and the figures are bigger as well, and I'll show that off later on. But let's get this guy open and give him a fair look and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have UFO opened up and out of its packaging. And one thing that you're going to notice is that one thing that's very cool about this set is he actually comes with this display stand. This really nice kind of display stand, but I do have a bit of a problem with mine. I don't know how well this is going to come across now actually because I fixed it, but this joint right here completely snapped off when I first got it. These are very, well, it's clear plastic and that's usually kind of weak, but this just completely snapped off when I was trying to position it, and I glued it so it's fixed and it still kind of rotates. But I don't know how secure this is going to be and how strong it's going to be and how durable, I should say, it is going to be over time. But it does bend here. It does rotate at the base, but again, don't rotate it by pulling around here. If you want to rotate it at the base, rotate it by actually grabbing hold of the bottom. That's the only way to do it. And then, like I said, forward and back here, forward and back here, and then this top joint actually moves back and forth in an opposite direction. So very cool. I love the fact that they actually figured out a way to include something like that. And you got the hole here at the bottom. You just come around here and give it a nice little peg, and boom, now you can, and you can see that it's actually kind of weak now, but you can have UFO kind of flying around, which is very cool. I love that. That's a wonderful accessory. The figure really doesn't impress me all that much. For his accessories, other than the stand, he does come with this nice kind of gun, which is very kind of sci-fi TV look, kind of playing on that. This really kind of looks like one of those old B-movie kind of UFOs. That really kind of gives that kind of same impression. But the figure, it really doesn't impress me. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't look good. I mean, as a UFO, it looks really nice. You've got the thrusters here on the back. You've got some windows here on the top. Much like the original vintage toy, you kind of have his head sticking out here. But just, it really doesn't impress me all that much as a Cosmos figure, and that's who this is supposed to represent. Now, every time that iGear's come out with something, even designs that they've created themselves, with Rager and Spray and Henge, they all do a nice job of recreating the original look. And I really wish they could have done that with this as well, or at least kept that same kind of thing going. No, I understand. This doesn't have to look that way. It's just my personal taste and my personal opinion. That's not to say that this does not look good as a UFO. I just prefer the original look to it. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, I like having the updated look, and that's fine. I would love that updated look too, if the robot mode kind of worked a little bit better. Yeah, it's a pretty nice detail on here. You can see it's really kind of this really bright green. You got the yellow on the bottom and everything. Color-wise, this looks like Cosmos, and it's very good. Now, to transform him, you come around here to the bottom, kind of separate this and separate this, kind of separate everything under here. Rotate this down, do that on this side as well. Then you're going to rotate this whole torso bit, or I'm sorry, lower section or torso, it doesn't matter, you're rotating it. Then come around here to the bottom, fold this out, then you got to get in here with a fingernail, pull out his heel, do the same on this side, pull out if you can. I usually can't because, again, I don't have fingernails, so I cheat and I use tweezers. So there we go. Pull that out, and then here you have his legs, and again, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, the legs look okay. It looks good. It just doesn't really grab me as G1 Cosmos, I guess. Then the arms, you actually take these, rotate them up, then rotate these around like so. This section is going to come down, kind of loosen this up as his arm. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that up, rotate it down and around, just like so. And here you have his arms. Now, again, the arms just really don't impress me. And then for his head, you just take this section here, and you actually, this is tough to do. You have to wiggle it. But when you wiggle it, it's going to pull his head up as well. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to make sure you get it all the way. And I think that is all the way. Okay, so here you have a UFO in his robot mode, and it's okay for what it is. It's a nice representation of kind of like an updated Cosmos, but much like with their other figures, I really wish they would have kept with the whole kind of G1 recreation. His arms just really don't do it for me. In terms of his articulation, his head will rotate. You do have to be careful though, because this glass piece will pop off, and the head sculpt is actually really nice on him. Zooming in, he does have a really nice head sculpt. Really kind of looks like an alien if you ask me. But like I said, this plastic dome will pop off if you're not careful. See if I can actually do it. Well, it's not going to do it, but it will pop off. It's popped off before. I might just have it in there fairly nice now. But that does look really good. I do dig that. But then the way that his arms are designed really kind of ruin a lot of the other articulation because of how it's rotated here. You're constantly keeping his arms bent inwards, and it just doesn't look good. His shoulders here are on a ball joint, so perfect range of motion there. But then again, because of this whole section here, you really can't get his arm straightened out. I guess if you could go like this, that would look good, but you can't rotate his wrists or anything to keep him kind of facing forward, and that really bugs me. I don't like that. So you're constantly keeping his arms like this, and he's got this giant round shape, and it just bugs me. It really kind of bugs me. The waist is articulated. You can rotate it as part of the transformation, and as you can see, the wrists here are really loose and very kind of flimsy on it. This one's not as bad, but this one is really bad. The hips are on ball joints, so nice range of motion there. They move forward, back, all that stuff. Bend here at the knee, they're on ball joints. And then the feet are a little bit articulated as just part of the transformation. Now, I really don't want this to sound negative, because it's not that I don't like this figure. I just don't particularly like him as Cosmos, I guess. Now, he's got his gun. You can just bring this out, have him hold it just like so. And then you got the hole still there, so you can very unfortunately peg this there and, you know, have him do some kind of a flying kick, whatever you want to do. But that's, again, kind of a weird place for it. But it's not a bad figure. It really isn't. But again, in terms of pricing and such, this guy costs $35 through, I believe, TF Source. So is that really worth it? I personally don't think so, especially when you take a look at UFO and see his size, and then you look at Hench, which is a much bigger figure. I really think this guy should be a little bit cheaper. Probably about $25 would be a better price for him. If the prices are going down despite the size of these guys increasing, $35 for him is okay. $25 seems about more reasonable for him. $35 for him just doesn't work for me. Now, he's bigger than the previous figures that we gotten from iGear, such as Spray and even Rager. So the price coming down to even $35 for him is still good. I just think it could be a little bit better. Now to transform him back, go ahead, get rid of this gun. And one thing that is kind of cool on this display stand, there are multiple holes, so you can really kind of display it there. You can peg it in there. I mean, you have different options for it, as well as the peg here. You can plug it in different areas, so really it's kind of up to you. But for him, just take the head, kind of straighten it out, push it down, rotate these arms around, section them like so. I mean, the transformation is really simple. Lower that down like so. Do that on this as well. It's really tough. It really is, because all these round bits are so tight into one another. Kind of rotate that around. That pegs together like so. Rotate here at the waist or torso, whatever. Fold the little heel back. Fold the foot back up and in. Heel, foot. Rotate this around like so. That's going to tab on the side. Do that on this side as well. Obviously yellow on the bottom, green on the top. Line everything up, and here you have UFO back in his UFO mode. And then again, you can just come around here, push that in there, kind of position this however you really want. Again, this is now weaker on mine because it broke, so that's definitely something that sucks, and it really kind of disappoints me. But here, I'll make it look like he's taking off, I guess. That's a little bit better, I suppose. But I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, guys. I like the way this looks. I just don't really look at him and see Cosmos for the most part. It's a good attempt. It's fun. The transformation is simple, but kind of annoying in some spots because, like I said, everything is very tight. There's not a lot of room to move things. If you are a big Cosmos fan, you probably will like this. I have a very good friend of mine who loves this figure. But in my personal opinion, I don't see how, if you're a Cosmos fan, you like this, because to me, I don't know. I guess I can see both sides of it. I can see where this would be like a modern version of Cosmos, and it really kind of keeps in the same kind of design that we got with the Legend version of Cosmos. So, I mean, it really does kind of work. But when they set a precedent, kind of, and by them I mean iGear, where they kind of recreate a lot of the G1 looks, this really is a radical kind of departure from that. It's my personal opinion is I'm not a big fan of it, to be totally honest. So I really can't recommend this. But like I said, I'm sure a lot of people will actually like this, and if you do, great. I'm very happy for you. I just don't particularly care for it, and I don't really recommend it all that much. So sorry I couldn't be more help to you guys, especially those that may actually like this figure. But there you go, the iGear MW-04 UFO. And until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.